Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome on back. The power to change, the power of choice to pick change. Is it something that comes naturally to you? Mistake by mistake. We've been talking about brushstrokes for a reason. You're building a masterpiece. Let's jam. Welcome back to Writing to Heal, Soul Bard Collective. My name is Jenna O'Malley. I'm your soul writer. Thank you for being here with me. Whether I'm helping people on my main channel figure out their writing processes, over here we talk about the spirituality, sociology, psychology, and whatnots and more related to creativity in the writing process. How are you? It's been a long week. It really, really has. And all the more, I am definitely listening to one of my favorite artists on repeat lately. Charlotte Wessels is the former lead singer of a band, Delane. You see one of her song titles tatted on my wrist already from that band, Control the Storm. But when she departed from the band and decided to go solo, hello, cool gamer, good to see you, my friend. Anyone else, feel welcome to comment in live or on the replay. Like and bring a friend in if this resonates with you. Charlotte released a song called Masterpiece. In that song, she sings, "I have the freedom to change and change my mind." Yeah. There's a ton of power in that statement. It literally to the levels of Sarah looking at Jareth in Labyrinth and going, "You have no power over me." It literally reframes your whole mind to focus on the fact that you have always had a choice. Freedom, it's the ability to make those choices without feeling constrained or locked into being something you may once resonated with but no longer do, or may resonate on behalf of someone else's comfort and your discomfort. Ow, that's heavy. So that's why change is so powerful, because the ripple effects normally are what cause that freedom, not necessarily the change itself, because the change is just the act of making something different. It's the act of making a new choice. So therefore, you got to have a flexible brain, a flexible mindset. This is why I really think, if you've never heard of Dr. Carol Dweck, Dweck, you need to at least listen to her TED Talk on grit and mindset. This is literally where I think some people forget that they put blinders on themselves. Guilty Party has done this before. And I just got to finish it because I started it. I just got to finish it because I started it. It's okay for you to take a break. That's part of the power of change and the freedom of change. I can change lanes for a little bit. I can go off this exit, take a 2-mile run down the road to the nice little mom and pop restaurant, and avoid the McDonald's. You see what I mean? I can make those choices on the road of life. And sometimes it's those tiny changes in the moment that are key. I was hanging out with a friend of mine earlier today, Sam Wicker, and a group of us were talking about what we can do to unblock ourselves. And I think this is where a lot of writers block themselves without even intending to, is they forget the power of change is literally a split-second decision away and no further. We get stuck in our ruts, we get stuck in our patterns, and it can feel very dangerous breaking out of your comfort zones. So says the chick who has moved in the last 2 years, one of her own design and one not, right? Something in life saw that we outgrew that apartment and we're getting very, very comfortable there. And now we're in a huge house and we love it here. At the same time, we had to confront a lot of comfort zones to make that move happen. We didn't think we were ready to move. when we were this past December. We were challenged to be far more flexible. We still have yet to get a footing in this house of any, or at least I should not speak for everyone in the house. I should speak for me. I have struggled since we moved to reestablish a solid routine. Why? I fantasized about the routine in the apartment while we were, we knew we were moving into a little 2-bedroom apartment. We have a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath house now with a fully finished basement. I'm going, wait a minute. It's an adjustment, not just of where are we storing stuff, but there's twice as much floors to clean. You get what I mean? I need to adjust for the fact that the new comfort zone has way bigger boundaries, and I'm playing in a bigger playing field, so to say, or let's make it a sandbox. I'm playing in a bigger sandbox, and it's way bigger than I thought. It's kind of like getting upgraded almost from the sandbox to the beach kind of comparison. You take a kid who spent all their childhood just playing in a sandbox, and then you take them out to a beach that's many, many times bigger. Watch their faces the first time. They're like, oh my God, it's everywhere. And I'm kind of learning that discomfort is something I learned to, as I became an adult. That discomfort became unfamiliar because I want my soft and squishies in my comforting place is also a block we can give ourselves. So that's why I think it is healthy to set realistic and flexible goals first and foremost. Why should my goals be flexible? Because life happens and you can't deal with the fact that you have other people involved in some of your projects. You can only count on you to show up to your best self and manage accordingly with anyone else who also showed up to the game, if you get my meaning. And therefore, it's really important to practice not just compassion to others and patience for others, but also of the self. That's where true change starts. That's where true freedom begins. So what that I will not finish everything on my to-do list today? So what? I put a hefty dent in them. Even if compared to yesterday, the pickaxe is nicking the glacier versus actually taking out, entire chunks. So changing your mind. It starts small. It really starts small. If you were to ask me 2 years ago, would Jenna be running 2 YouTube channels and looking to open up 2 to 3 more as part of her company's video marketing and adding video editors and stuff like that in the next couple years, I would be laughing at you and say, no way, that's a possibility. Now I'm going, let's fox around and find out, literally, as I look right across the way. One of my teachers for Full-Time Purpose, Matt Schaefer, one of my coaches rather, he uses a different word instead of fox, F-O-X, around, but it's kind of combining something else. He says bleep around and find out, but he also refers to focus fox mode. So when you combine the two, you get fox around and find out. You are literally kind of with a intention going, let's give this a try and see what happens. And ever since, that phrasing has kind of been literally staring me in the face as I'm doing this live stream. I've been hanging it in my streaming space where I see it all the time, and I just look at that and say, you know what? Enjoy the journey. There's times where I'm sure the fox goes on a walk and they just enjoy the journey. Sometimes I'm going to make a friend along the way, referencing Fox and the Hound here, Disney friends. I'm not going to make it sad like that movie gets, but you get my meaning. You're going to make friends with people you would not otherwise realize you've made friends with. I spoke with authors earlier today living in 3 different regions of the U.S. I chat with people who live in New Zealand on the weekly, the UK. And seriously, the second all of us see each other face to face physically the first time, I know what's going to happen. It's going to be like the hug at the last episode of The Golden Girls. Everyone, oh, yeah, you, and hugging. I would have never met these people had I not decided to make one teeny tiny decision way back when. I often say it's Sarah Cannon's fault, hashtag Sarah's fault, that I got inspired to do AuthorTube in the first place because I used to use her videos in my classroom, but it also comes in part because a therapist looked at me in 2019 and 2020 and said, you stand up in front of a group of teenagers 5 to 10 times a day, and you survive a group of 20 to 30 teenagers at a clip. Why can't you think that for a second you can't do the same on YouTube with mature adults? And I'm going, it was that tiny little seed that started the journey to changing my mind. Is video marketing, is YouTube, is any social media for every author? No, it doesn't have to be. Your process is your process. Your journey is your journey. Right now, me, the theater nerd that I was in college, is loving that I'm doing YouTube because it's literally pulling on a part of my studies from college I thought I would hardly use, stage management. I was an English teacher forever, but I'm also trained in stage management and stage combat, things you didn't know about your soul writer. And pulling off of those skills started creeping into my decision-making processes when I was literally considering quitting YouTube at one point, big time. Like, seriously, when we moved from the very first streaming space we had to the apartment we had last year, I almost just said, this is goodbye forever and never come back. Like, I was going to delete the channel and everything. That's how close I was to giving up. I was going to unpublish my books. I was going to be like, yeah, this isn't our last stream until we move. This is our last stream, period. It was the best idea for me to stay. A teeny tiny pros and cons list is what kept me here, because the pros were way like 3 times, 4 times longer than the cons. And the pros were things like meeting the people I meet and hang out with, the cool conversations I get to have about anime and video games with authors and writers is delicious. We learn so much about each other and ourselves in this process. And that also big time changed my mind, was the fact that I found a group of author tubers who feel that this is not a competition. The only person I'm in competition with is me. I look at other people's numbers more as a, what are they doing right for them? Can I congratulate them on it? You shouldn't really be comparing numbers even to yourself. But if you need to change your mindset to be more positive, maybe you should just treat your social media as a data set point instead of, I put my entire emotional investment in this, it has to go viral. That's not how viral works. And that is definitely not how one sustains viral. No, I don't know from personal experience of what viral is, but I've seen enough people through my full-time purpose student coaching community get pretty close here recently in their niches. And the key that keeps people coming back is they're okay to stay flexible in who they are. They're okay that their freedom is to accept that who they were when they were at 100 subs is not going to be exactly the same person they are at 1,000 or 10,000, because you're going to grow. And those realistic goals are going to help you get there big time. Accepting that every single brush stroke you make, every single time you decide to show up either for your self-care, your soul care, your books, your marketing, and more, no matter what you decide, it's going to be a masterpiece. You are always and forever a living, breathing, work in progress masterpiece. And that's okay. Because once the painting is finished, that means the game is over. You don't want the game to be over because that means that life is over. It's always going to throw its curveballs at you. You have the freedom to change your mind at any given time on how you react to that, how you heal from that, but more importantly, how you treat yourself and others along the way. Be kind to you. You've been worth it from the beginning. Including your books, so is your voice. Dang it.